Hello everybody, and thanks for joining. Welcome. Today we're going to do the exclusive Boutique Hotelier webinar with Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality. I'm joined by three experts in the field today, and I'm going to now hand you over so the gentlemen can introduce themselves and a little bit about what they do. Thank you. If you want to start, Deep.
Thank you, Rochelle. So hello everybody who has joined the webinar. My name is Deep Ghosh. I lead business development at Alexa for the topic of Alexa Smart Properties in Europe. And my job is to help bring this solution to customers and partners in Europe.
Ed, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Edward. I'm the Director of Revenue and Marketing for Mercure Hyde Park. So really excited that we've got Alexa and Hotel Cloud on board to boost our amenities and technology in our rooms as we come out of this pandemic and start to hopefully see the booming market next year.
Great, thank you, Amit.
Thanks everyone. Yeah, I'm Amit, CEO of Hotel Cloud. So my background's a little varied. I studied maths at Cambridge before moving into the tech industry, including some time working at the tech team with EasyJet. So when I moved into the hotel industry, I really tried to take some of that experience and knowledge from other industries and work with hotel experts, and that resulted in creating Hotel Cloud.
Perfect, amazing. Thank you, everybody. And so today's webinar is going to be set up with a presentation from Amazon Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality. And then we're going to be followed by a Q&A from Boutique Hotelier ourselves. And then we will be asking if you want to pop any questions on the sidebar from the Q&A column. We will attend to those questions at the end if we have time. And if we don't, I'll correlate them and we'll get back to you as well. So without further ado, Deep, if you would like to go into the presentation, that would be great.
Yep, absolutely.
Just while Deep's getting that up again, if anyone has any questions, just pop them on the Q&A column in the sidebar.
Please confirm you're seeing my screen.
Sorry?
Can you confirm you're seeing my screen?
I can't see the shared screen just yet now.
Okay.
I can see it now, yes, but
Yep. Can you see it now? It just takes a bit of time.
Great, no problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So before I start, maybe a quick request to everybody. Down the presentation, there will be a small video on Alexa given by Amit. So if you have an Alexa device nearby, maybe you may wish to just mute it so that there is no false wake. Okay, thank you. So in terms of the presentation today, there will be three topics that I want to talk about. So first of all, I'll talk about why voice matters. Then I'll talk about Alexa and where we are as a business. And then I will talk about the main part, why we are here today, which is about our new solution, Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality. And then I'll pass it over to Amit and Ed, who will talk about the Mercure Hyde Park case study, where we recently launched this solution. So why is Amazon invested in voice? So voice is the most natural and intuitive user interface. So when humans speak to each other in a room, right? So we don't use the keyboard, correct? So we use voice. And if you look at the wider world out there, the voice is growing. And this is evident from the usage of voice services by all concerned. And we believe that voice will continue to grow at pace. So what does that growth mean from an Amazon Alexa perspective? So for people who are new to Alexa, just to kind of baseline, Alexa is our cloud-based voice service. that powers not only our Amazon devices like Echo, Echo Dot, Echo Show, Fire TV tablets, but also other third-party devices like LG, Bose, etc. Where we are Alexa today, right? So we have got billions of interactions that are happening per week in 80 plus countries and in 15 languages. We have got 100 million plus Alexa-enabled devices. Developers have built 100,000 plus skills, and skills are nothing but voice applications. And then we've also got 100,000 plus smart home products that actually work with Alexa. So just looking at that stats, hopefully this will give you a bit of an idea of the scale and breadth of Alexa usage today. Using Alexa is very simple. And again, Amit will demonstrate later on, but it's just saying Alexa and then asking what needs to be done. So for example, Alexa, book a dinner reservation. Alexa, can I get a wake-up call? Alexa, what time is happy hour? And then last but not the least, we at Amazon continue to innovate on behalf of our customers. So Alexa is always getting smarter, both in terms of the features and also the understanding of natural language. So coming to the real topic of the day, hopefully this gives you a bit of a context about Alexa broadly, but now coming to Alexa smart properties for hospitality, let me start off with the very basics. So Alexa smart properties for hospitality, the value proposition is fundamentally twofold. The first one is about delighting guests, so that for hoteliers, guests are so happy that they come again and again. And the second part is driving value for the property, either in terms of upselling revenue or driving efficiency of the property as a whole. So let's go a bit deeper into this. So if I come to the first point, which is about wowing the guests with that delightful experience, Alexa can do a variety of things. So first of all, a guest can listen to music in radio. They can control any smart home device like lights, thermostats that may be in the room. They can order room service. They can ask for the Wi-Fi password. They can ask for property specific information. They can check out or ask for a late checkout and much more. But of course, this depends on what you set up as the curated experience for your property. The second part of the value proposition is about the ability to deploy and manage devices at scale. So Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality helps setting up devices in a much faster and easier way so that hotels can add more Alexa devices as they so choose. The third part of the proposition is about, as I talked about before, which is about improving the property efficiency. So the property efficiency can come from two ways. So one way is the guest using Alexa to do certain activities where they otherwise would have waited for the hotel staff. And the other part where the efficiency comes in is the staff themselves. So they can use Alexa to say, Alexa, this room is clean, or Alexa, fix my TV. That way, they're actually using a voice-based mechanism and basically driving efficiency by being paperless. And then last but not the least, it also helps you provide valuable analytics and insights. And this comes from some standard engagement analytics that we provide, but more importantly, by linking with your back-end system, you can actually provide more personalized experiences to guests. And where is this solution today right now? So right now, the solution in Europe is available in UK and France. So you may be asking, okay, so what are the features? What do I actually get? So let's actually dig deeper into some of the features. So I already touched upon fleet management. So fleet management is basically fleet management of devices. So Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality provides a console by which it helps properties to set up and manage those devices easily, and also provides a dashboard with aggregated analytics. The console also helps you manage the device settings. So for example, you can set a particular volume. So let me give you a practical example. Let's say in your particular hotel, you don't want people to play loud music after 10 o'clock. So you can set the room volume at maybe very low after 10 o'clock. You can also see the device status, whether it's offline or online. The third key feature I'm going to talk about is name-free skill invocation. And I would say it is probably one of the most important features of this solution. So for Alexa skill developers, they would know, who have developed a skill before, they would know that you actually need to call a skill by the skill name. So in the case of Mercure Hyde Park, in a normal world, you would have to say, ask Mercure Hyde Park, when is the gym? Now, isn't it better if you say, ask when is the gym? Because that's more natural. And that's exactly what this solution provides. As the name suggests, it provides name-free skill invocation, which means more natural and more easier for the guests. The fourth feature is what we call notifications. So this is very similar to if you have Amazon shopping at home and if you have Alexa, right? So you have a green light which says your package has been delivered. So it's very similar. So imagine if you want, as a hotelier, if you want to push some information to the guest, whether it's more general, like for example, there's a local excursion, maybe there's a spa offer, or even individual, like a checkout. The green light comes up and the guests can see it at their own leisure. The fifth, so coming to the bottom row, the next one is dynamic language switching. So this is actually really important, especially in the context of France, where you can actually speak to Alexa in both languages interchangeably. So for example, you say first thing in English, Alexa responds in English. If you say in French, it responds in French. In addition to dynamic language switching, you also have translation capabilities. The next function is what we call frustration-free setup. And this also goes into the whole point of making device setup easy. So the basic concept of frustration-free setup is you set the first device and that device sets up the rest of them. So imagine if you're a hotelier, you've got 50 devices, right? 50 rooms and 50 devices to set up. All you do, you set up the first device, you use the app, use the Wi-Fi, and then power on the rest of the devices. Those devices get automatically set up because your first device shares the credentials. The next point is this particular solution has a whole bunch of APIs that help you integrate the solution to your management applications, for example, your PMSs. And then the last point I wanted to mention on this slide is something which is coming. So today, Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality supports what we call headless devices. So these are Echo and Echo Dot, but very shortly we'll be supporting multimodal devices, or in other words, Echo Show. This will be really a big leap for hoteliers because they can actually drive visual notifications. For example, a particular offer for a hotel, right? And then it becomes an audio-visual experience. However, I just wanted to kind of mention another key point here, which is, although we have got Echo Show, the camera will be disabled for privacy reasons. So let's take the privacy topic a bit further. Privacy is very important to Amazon. And for that, we have created the solution such as it protects your guest's privacy. And we have done a few things. So first of all, the voice recordings are not saved. And also the properties cannot access the voice recordings of the guests. Guests, when they actually come to the room, they do not need to share their personal information to use the device. What that actually means is that you don't connect your Amazon account to the Alexa-enabled device. And then lastly, the guest use of device is completely optional. So if somebody wants to mute somebody doesn't want to use it, he can press the mute button on the top and the microphone gets electronically disconnected, like any Alexa device. So I've said a lot of things, right? So how does it actually flow? How does the different pieces come together? So let's take this example. So everything starts with a guest, right? So the guest is in the room. He says, Alexa, tell me what's going on today, as an example. The utterance then goes to the Alexa cloud, and then you have basically one of two options. The one option is Alexa or Amazon answers the question because it's a standard functionality. like, for example, about weather information, or it's about setting an alarm. The other path is it actually goes to the hotel skill, which is the customized, curated experience that you have created to delight your guests. Now here, the solution provider comes in, and we have Amit from Hotel Cloud and other solution providers who are part of the program. And the solution providers play a really important part in the solution, in this whole solution. They are our key go-to-market channel, and they provide their specialized capabilities to help enable such a solution. So what do? So first of all, they create the skill. Then they help set up those devices in the console. They help configure the devices. They help install the devices on site, and they provide ongoing maintenance of solution. Finally, the skill doesn't live on its own. To provide a whole integrated and personalized experience, there is a need to connect the skill to your backend systems. So whether it's the CRM system, whether it's the PMS system, whether it's your events or calendars, or whether it's your back of house system like housekeeping. Hopefully, this information was informative. So I will come back again for the round of questions, but I just wanted to end by saying thank you from me, but also contact me at my email here if you want to join the program, whether you are a hotelier or a solution provider, and if you need more information. Thank you.
That's great. Amit, are you ready with your presentation? Thank you. To carry on from that.
Thanks, Steve, for that. That was really great. So I should be sharing my screen. Hopefully you're able to see that. So I'll give a brief introduction to Hotel Cloud and then explain more about our sort of Alexa partnership. So in terms of the problem that most hotels face today, as many of you will know, hotels have so much data about their guests and bookings trapped into so many different systems. For example, from your property management system to competitor rate sites to events feeds, just to name a few. And it can be really time consuming and difficult to try and unlock the power of all this data. For example, revenue managers often extracting and combining many different reports into spreadsheets before they're actually able to make a decision. So the way we sort of see it is, it's like you're being given a jigsaw puzzle without the final image. So you've got all the pieces, but you can't quite see how they all fit together. Now, there are some solutions that will focus just on one piece of the puzzle, but we at Hotel Cloud felt that you kind of miss out on the full revenue picture that way, which is why we took a slightly different approach. So we began with our business intelligence platform that we call Analytics. Essentially, we're presenting all your data in easy-to-use views that you can see on any device, on the mobile phone, on the desktop. We combine that with tailored reporting for your property. So what we're aiming to do is really bring out the actionable insights from your data to aid your decision-making process. But we soon realized there's still so much more data about the guest that's sort of trapped within the property management system that's not even being touched. For example, whether they're a family booker or a business traveler, and similarly their past stay history. And that's what led us to creating our email marketing platform that we call Connect. So now you can segment your guests and tailor your communications, driving revenue through a more direct means. We're also able to sort of send out automated mailers, for example, in periods of low demand. And then you can fully track the results in the analytics platform. So there's a real synergy between the different parts of the platform. We've since taken that a step further by introducing machine learning in our intelligence platform. So what we do is we've created AI models of your booking patterns and market conditions. For example, by combining your PMS data with competitor rates, events feeds, flight search information. We're able to run thousands of simulations every hour to essentially give the hotel the perfect rate at the perfect time. The aim being, of course, to increase revenue at the end of the day. And as well as that, we're able to provide complete future forecasting. So now we have a picture from financial analysis to reaching and driving demand through stay, setting that perfect rate. But we felt there was one part of our jigsaw still missing, and that was improving that in-stay experience and driving in-room revenue. So we looked around for the best possible option, and that's really where our partnership, our collaboration with the Alexa Hospitality Program began. So now with our voice platform, the Alexa piece, we have that complete picture, the hotel ecosystem. So each part targets a different part of the revenue journey, but each is linked and each vital for increasing that overall customer lifetime value. So focusing on our voice platform, so as Deep discussed, there are many parts of the hotel's experience that can be enriched using Alexa, such as information around the property or the local area, as well as being able to check out. But it's probably best that I demo an example as opposed to just speaking about it. So I'll give an example of item requests. So essentially requesting things like towels, blankets, or toiletries. So hopefully it should play.
I need a towel.
Okay, here's Mercury Hyde Park. How many towels would you like?
2, please.
Sure, 2 towels will be sent shortly. Would you like anything else?
No thanks.
Have a nice afternoon.
So that was one of the more simple requests. But even so, by being able to handle something as simple as that with Alexa, you're removing that workload from staff. So you're saving staff time, which is vital, especially in these times where there's a reduced staff capacity. Now, it's one thing to be able to make the requests, but then how do you actually service that request as quickly and simply as possible? So with Hotel Cloud, we offer several touch points, either directly online through our portal. We are able to send out emails, but perhaps the simplest of all is we allow you to send a text message to the relevant department. So for example, here you'll be able to see the full details of the order, as well as the room number. And using the property management system, we can link it to the guest profile, which is of course important when you're posting orders, for example. And to confirm this, all the member of staff has to do is just type back the room number, in this case, test, and it's automatically confirmed in the system. So essentially within seconds, anyone in your property can service Alexa requests with no training at all. So it really helps to ensure that you can deliver that seamless guest experience in combination with your Alexa. The key part of our Alexa offering is driving that in-room revenue by supporting the room service menu, essentially trying to make it easier and more convenient for your guests to be able to place those food orders. So what we've done is we've created quite an advanced F&B menu support where you can fully customize and update your menu, so turn items on and off, adjust the pricing, even after the initial setup, so you've got full control of your menu always. You'll see on the right-hand side of the screen, this is part of the menu at Mature Hyde Park. And you'll find that at their particular property, all the names of the items are in Italian, which we initially thought might be an issue, but actually, because of Alexa's language capability, it picks that up quite easily. So I'll actually demo that now with an example here.
Alexa, order a gluten-free margarita pizza with extra olives.
Okay, here's Mercury Hyde Park. Great. How many servings of margarita, gluten-free, with extra olives would you like?
1, please.
Sure, that's 1 serving of margarita, gluten-free, with extra olives. Would you like anything else?
1 glass of Pinot Noir.
Certainly, that's 1 serving of margarita, gluten-free, with extra olives and 1 glass of Pinot Noir. Shall I confirm your order?
Yes.
Excellent. Your order has now been placed. Have a nice afternoon.
So you'll see there, you're able to create really rich guest experiences, supporting things like allergies, customization of your menu items, as well as ordering multiple items, all in a really natural, easy to use way. So we've discussed improving the guest experience, but another key part of our Alexa hospitality offering is to improve property efficiency in terms of the cleaning and maintenance side. So traditionally, as you may well know, that a lot of the housekeeping staff will have, for example, a paper checklist of the rooms that they have to clean. They then clean those rooms and tick them off the checklist. It wouldn't be after a period of time of cleaning several rooms when the property management system would eventually be updated. But with Alexa, staff can notify as soon as the room is being cleaned, and that automatically feeds into the property management system. So now, no longer a guest waiting at reception when their room's already been cleaned, because they'll know instantly. Another part is on the maintenance side. So either guests or staff can both raise when there's a particular issue in the room. For example, here, Alexa, repair the heating. And then similarly, maintenance staff can then update using Alexa when that's been fixed. So you have full monitoring of all aspects of the journey, from the faults being reported to it being picked up to it being fixed. So that can really help you drive those efficiency gains throughout the property. Now, it's one thing to provide Alexa, but it's another thing to actually understand and learn from how it's being used. And that's where our complete reporting comes into play. So we present KPIs to show exactly how much staff time has been saved, or how much revenue is driven as a result of using the Alexa devices. Now, because it's part of our Hotel Cloud ecosystem, we also use our machine learning to enrich this as well. For example, we can help identify recurring issues in rooms, so potentially it can be checked before it becomes a bigger issue. And coming soon also, we'll be offering intelligent recommendations. So for example, if a business traveler asks what's in the area compared to a family traveler, we can actually offer different suggestions as a result of that. And similarly, we're soon integrating with local tour providers as well to provide that tailored experience. So we're really trying to create that personal touch, as well as creating those additional revenue opportunities. And finally, as Deep was mentioning, we're really looking forward to launching the Echo Show, because you'll be able to subtly notify and almost advertise to your guests about your property's offerings on the device screen. So it can really help encourage a guest to engage and order in-room services. So yeah, that's Hotel Cloud in a nutshell. But if you'd like to know more, I'll certainly welcome your questions later in the webinar. But otherwise, do feel free to reach out to me as well. My details are here.
Thank you so much for that, Amit and Deep. It's really interesting. So I have a few questions from my side. Going back to the beginning, why did Amazon decide to launch the smart properties for hospitality? And then to come to Ed, after, why did you decide to put it in? Start with you, Deep?
Yeah, hopefully you can still hear from me. Yeah, thank you. It's a really interesting question. I mean, from our perspective, we see a lot of interest from customers in an enterprise vertical such as hospitality. And what we saw this as an opportunity to bring the simplicity and convenience of Alexa to the hotel industry, to help them drive that guest experience, but also improve the property efficiency. One key feature, like I talked about, is the fleet management functionality. So incorporating that functionality helps the hoteliers and the property managers to add more Alexa devices to rooms much easily and in a faster mechanism. Finally, I also want to say that the Alexa smart properties as a whole it is not just relevant for hospitality, but we can also apply that to other verticals like senior living. So I'll now pass it on to Ed. I'm sure the audience is much more interested to understand how it's going at Mercure Hyde Park and why did they launch it in the first place.
Well, I mean, the bottom line, guys, is we want to stay current. Alexa has been around a long time. It's in people's homes. Many of our guests already have Alexa at home. And now that Alexa has been designed to work in a hotel, we jumped on the opportunity. It's an extra amenity for our guests. It adds value to our rooms, and it has so many other benefits, from making our staff's job easier, answering those common questions, but then also guests can play music and do all sorts of other things. So it's just only enhancing our offering. And we've been using Hotel Cloud for years as our data tool to manage our hotel in all aspects. And you know, it's a very innovative piece of software, and teaming up with Alexa and Amazon has been really exciting for everybody. It sort of breathed new life into our team and our product.
Great, thank you. That's interesting to hear. And it's good to see the demo in practice and what you showed there, Amit. I just wanted to see from your side, Ed, what's been the impact since you've had it installed?
Staff are happier. I mean, many of those common questions that they got asked every day, like what time is breakfast, or where the gym is, Alexa's handling lots of those common questions. So they've actually got more time now to do the parts of the job they really enjoy, like chatting to guests on check-in, check-out, doing more face-to-face interaction. From my perspective as well, from a revenue side, we've seen an increase in our room service revenues, because it's so much easier for guests now to order via Alexa. We've not taken anything away from what the guests could do previously. They can still call down to order, they can still go to our restaurant, but we've just sort of enhanced what a guest can do now. And I think the novelty of it, coupled with the people's desire to stay current with new technology, has just it improved many aspects of our hotel.
That's good to hear. And on the side of the hospitality industry, it's obviously very face-to-face, especially within the luxury hotel industry. And how do you think Alexa will impact that, and what have you seen so far?
Well, I mean, Alexa's come at a perfect time in regards to, I mean, there's a bit of a staffing crisis at the moment going on. So any technology that we can use to take some of the pressure off of our staff to handle those common queries, it's only enhancing, to be honest, our face-to-face experience. I mean, even guests that don't use the Alexa devices are benefiting, because our staff now have more time to answer the phone or see guests face-to-face. They can be more chatty because they're not having to take as many orders to answer as many common questions. So it's improved efficiency, and it's benefiting all our customers.
That's great. The big question on everybody's lips, it seems to be, we've already had it in the Q&A, is the effect on privacy and what that means within a hotel room. Ed, what do you do if the guests are still concerned about the privacy of this?
I mean, first of all, the response has been overwhelmingly positive. I've not heard of any guests having any issues, but we always explain to them, if you do want to mute Alexa, it's very easy. There's a button just on the top, and that actually electronically disables the microphone, so Alexa cannot hear anything. I think Deep's already explained, nothing is recorded. This is a system that's been built to be operating in a public environment. It's not like your Alexa device at home. And if a guest still feels uncomfortable, you can easily unplug the device as well. There's no pressure there, but as I say, overwhelmingly guests have embraced this new amenity that we're offering them. It's just added value to their experience. You can ask anything from what the weather's like to nearby attractions, what time the restaurant's open, or even what nice restaurants are in the area. It's another port of call for our guests. We've still got our reception teams, our concierge that can help, but as I've mentioned, they have even more time now to answer more difficult questions that our guests might want to answer.
That's so true. We have it in our own homes, so I think people are very used to it. And I'm sure everyone is quite interested to know how long it took for the process to get set up and how much did it cost to set it all up as well.
So yeah, I can answer about the sort of setup time. Typically, it's about 4 to 6 weeks to fully set up Alexa or a property, but most of that initial time is just taken working with your staff to really understand your needs and tailor that experience to your property, because of course each property is slightly different. Some may have spas, some may have more extensive room service menu, and of course there'll be different attractions around each property. So by spending that initial time really building out that experience, it results in a better product for yourself and your customers. But following that, the actual setup and training time is quite short. So all in all, I'd say about 4 to 6 weeks would cover everything.
Yeah, and I thank you, Amit. And I can take the question on the cost. I think it's probably better to explain the model rather than go into specific numbers here. So the way the model works is the Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality is a subscription-based service. So basically, the charge is per device per month. Of course, in addition, there is a bit of a one-time cost, which is the device purchase cost. And also, there could be a one-off cost to build this solution, right? Or this could also be kind of split across and made into a monthly fee. Now, in terms of actual numbers, I think that will depend on the experience you're building and also the context of your property, right? The size and scale and what the kind of the scope is, right? So I think if as hoteliers you're interested, I think the best option is we can have a conversation together. So you, me, and us and the solution provider, Hotel Cloud here. So we can have a conversation to discuss what the ballpark would be for such an implementation.
Great. So in terms of that and getting involved in the hotel already, how does Alexa fit in with people's current PMS, RMS, and e-marketing? Is it easy enough to combine the solutions?
Yeah, I can take that one. So for example, with Hotel Cloud, we're already a well-established platform. As I was describing earlier, we already have sort of analytics and e-marketing packages. So we already have the connectivity with the major PMSs. But of course, if you have a PMS that isn't already on our list, we can just connect to it as well. We've not had any issues connecting with any PMSs. But by having that connection, that's what really allows us to give that enriched Alexa experience. For example, as I was explaining earlier, housekeeping can update the PMS with the room clean status because of that PMS link. Regarding the other systems, so I think traditionally, sort of revenue management systems and marketing systems, they tend to sort of focus quite on their own silo, so to speak. They don't really look at the full picture. But that's why we do things a bit different. So with our business intelligence and e-marketing solutions, we very much have it linked with the voice platform as well. So you can really gain that additional understanding and new revenue opportunities by connecting the dots. So essentially what we're trying to do is have that synergy between the different parts of the business. So we feel that can really help empower a hotel in the modern way.
That's great. Thank you so much. So from the Q&A and questions that have been put forward, what have you seen, Ed and Amit, have been the most popular uses for Alexa? What has been the most requested use from this?
Well, we've seen quite a few room service orders. It's like in a lot of modern restaurants these days, you can order on an app or you can order with the waiter. Well, our guests can order without even lifting a finger now, so they can get their orders in within 20-30 seconds. So that's really helped our room service revenues increase. Efficiencies on property as well. I mean, our staff can easily update the status of rooms using Alexa. Over to you, Amit.
Yeah, so I was checking the reports actually this morning to make sure I had the latest information. So I think at Mercure Hyde Park, about 50% of the requests so far have been general information requests. So things like about the property, the local area, as Ed was saying, things like checkout times, breakfast times. And I think that just perfectly demonstrates what Alexa can be great at, removing those sort of simple and mundane questions from staff. But following that, I think room service requests were the next most popular. So I think the guests at Mercure Hyde Park are enjoying that sort of convenience in which they can order those items.
Sure. Just leading on from that, do you think, again, about the personal approach to the hotel, do you think guests prefer using an Alexa at your property, Ed, or do you think they miss the kind of room service interaction? Or I guess they have both. But...
Well, we have all sorts of guests here at Mercure Hyde Park. We have families, we have corporate guests, we have couples, young, old, and some guests love using Alexa. I mean, all types of guests enjoy using Alexa, but it varies. You know, some people are just using Alexa to play music. Some people are ordering a lot of room service. Some people are really benefiting from the information side. And yeah, we have a few guests that don't use the device, but again, they're benefiting as well because our staff can now spend more time interacting with those guests.
That's great, thank you. And I just saw one come in on, have the operations team experienced any issues adapting to Alexa at all?
It's a learning curve whenever you introduce something new, but our team love a new challenge. Like I say, it's breathed new life into our product, and they're all very proud to be one of the first hotels in Europe to be introducing this new technology and partnering with Amazon. So it's a great talking point, actually, a great icebreaker when a guest is checking in to explain that we have this technology in the room, and guests are very intrigued. So I think our team are overwhelmingly positive about it, and it's actually made their jobs easier in terms of fixing maintenance issues. The receptionist no longer needs to relay and radio the housekeeping. All this walkie-talkie activity now has been minimized. So it's just a more pleasant working environment, I think, Alexa. It's just smoothed the communication out, and yeah, the staff as a result are much happier.
Oh, that's brilliant. In terms of the Wi-Fi setup in the hotel, does it encroach on the bandwidth that you already have? I guess this would be more for Deep and Amit, but does it need to have any extra requirements when setting up?
So no, I think the requirements are quite minimal. So as long as you have a stable Wi-Fi connection, you can easily use Alexa. It doesn't use much data at all. I think I've got the tech specs of being like, if you've got half a megabit per second, if you want to go into that detail, anything more than that, you're more than fine to set it up. In terms of sort of other infrastructure at your property, if you wanted to have smart home features like lights, heating, and sort of TV integration, you need the compatible devices there. But after that, the process is really easy to set up, and we as a solution provider can assist you there.
Yeah, and I can maybe add a couple of things. So, but before I add it, I wanted to go back to one of the comments with Amit said about the usage. I'm not surprised that room service is one of the popular one, considering the quality of food that you offer and the customer service. It's probably competing with your first one. But coming back to the infrastructure requirements, I think Amit nicely summed up, which is a good Wi-Fi is probably the kind of main thing, and the right access points. So having Wi-Fi working well in every part of the hotel. And I also want to say that people who want to go into more details, in our public-facing documentation, there is a networking best practice or networking requirements. So there's detailed specifications. Like, for example, one of the detailed technical thing is you cannot have a captive user portal, right? So there's detailed Wi-Fi and other technical requirements listed there if you want to go into that level of detail.
If I could just come in quickly, at Mercure Hyde Park, we pride ourselves on our free Wi-Fi. It's an expectation of our guests now. So guests, they can stream high definition movies. They can make calls using the internet, and Alexa is a very minor part of that bandwidth. So there's no issues at all that we've experienced by having these devices in the rooms. I mean, guests carry many devices with them that usually all use Wi-Fi from iPads, phones, etc.
That's brilliant, thank you. So I'm sure a lot of our hotel owners are very aware of sticky fingers in hotel rooms when it comes to mini bars and amenities and things like that. When you see this Alexa property, what happens if that's stolen or taken from the hotel room?
Yeah, I can take that. So, the Alexa smart properties for hospitality is a very specific solution, and the devices that are placed, let's say for hypothetical situation, if it gets misplaced or lost or stolen, right? So what we have the option to actually stop that working. So the moment it goes outside of the property, you can disable it so people cannot misuse it. And the way one of the options you can know that if a device is missing is in the console, you can actually see it's gone offline. So it can go offline for many reasons, but one of the reasons is it could be misplaced, right? So if you find that out, then that can be blocked. So it cannot be used outside of the property.
That's good to know. So being from Newcastle myself, people misunderstand a lot of things I say. What happens if Alexa misunderstands an order or gets an item wrong?
Good question. I can understand you okay. Your accent's not too strong. But in terms of Alexa misunderstanding, so with orders, we made sure we always have a confirmation step. So Alexa will actually read out your full order and ask, do you confirm it? So you always know exactly what you're going to order. In general, with accents, though, it's proven quite accurate. We've tested it out on a lot of different accents from different countries as well as parts of the country, and it's been quite strong. But in the worst case, if you do end up placing an order accidentally, for example, we also have the functionality where you can just cancel it through Alexa as well, and the hotel is immediately notified. So there's several protection steps there to prevent against sort of accidental orders or incorrect orders.
Yeah, thank you, Amit. I mean, for clarifying that, always it's good to have that operational checks and balances where possible. But also, I wanted to go back, link this point to something I said in my presentation, which is Alexa is always getting smarter, and our spoken language and natural language understanding is constantly improving, right? So whatever one or two times when maybe there's a mistake, over time that gets better, right? So I want to kind of also link that to kind of the general technology as well.
I need to get a personal one to go around to restaurants on my own with. So I've had a question from the side as well. Do hotels need a solution provider to build a solution? And who are the solution providers, and can they build it themselves?
Yeah, I can take that. So I think, as I mentioned in my presentation, solution providers play a really key part in this. So they bring that specialized expertise and provide that end-to-end service, and are a go-to-market partner for us. So our view is we strongly recommend that hotels partner with solution providers like Hotel Cloud and others who qualify into a program, who are listed on our website. What we have heard from hoteliers is that some of them, even though they have their IT department, they have actually given us the feedback that they actually love the expertise that solution providers bring, and their preference would be to work with them. So that is our strong recommendation at this stage, to work with solution providers.
That's great, thank you. So why is it better to report a maintenance issue through Alexa rather than calling reception?
As I've said before, guests can still call reception. We're not taking anything away from our existing level of service. But a benefit of reporting through Alexa would be that the issue gets logged, there's a time against it, the room number's clearly stated, and that message is going straight to the maintenance team. So whereas before you might be trying to call down to reception, the receptionist is busy checking in guests and they're not picking up the phone, the guest is getting frustrated, and then the receptionist is then having to take a message down, radio to the maintenance, get through to them. All of that chain, anything could go wrong, and Alexa is just smoothing out that process and getting that message logged and sent straight to the team. And it's also incentivizing the team to get it fixed quickly, right? Because there's a time against when the guest reported it. So a manager can come in and say, oh, you know, that TV was reported broken half an hour ago. How come it's still not fixed? So there's that aspect as well, and you know, really beneficial. And this is something I would never have thought of initially when we got Alexa in. I just thought it would help guests listen to music, order room service. I didn't realize there was going to be this whole sort of operational efficiency aspect to it as well, which is fantastic. It's like an added bonus that we've got.
That's amazing. I guess there's a paper trail as well, and you can keep up to date with everything.
Exactly. We can see what common issues there are, if there are any, and so it's helping us learn how to improve our property services in general.
Great. In terms of when you update your menu and updates to the hotel, is it easy enough to keep the Alexa process current? I think that's for you, Amit.
So when we onboard the hotel, we try and set up their full restaurant menu, even though the room service menu might be a sort of shortened version of that. And the reason is through our portal, the hotel can easily sort of turn on and off items, adjust the prices, and also adjust the available service times. For example, if some items are just breakfast items. So we've tried to make it as simple as possible for the hotel to manage their menu within the system. If the time comes when they need to fully refresh their menu, they can just let us as the solution provider know, and we can just easily update the system for them.
That's great. And one thing about menus as well, a lot of people are asking, have you thought about using Alexa not just in the hotel room, but throughout the hotel itself, in the restaurant, in the bars, in the spa? And is there a correlation that could be go to restaurants and bars as well, separate to hotels? Is that a possibility?
I think it's certainly an option. Yeah, Ed might have a view
Well,
there.
we're going to introduce Alexa into our meeting rooms, for example. So if someone's having a conference and they want some more teas and coffees, or they want someone to come in and help them set up their laptop for the projector, for example, there's many aspects. I think at the moment in a public area where there's lots of background noise and other people talking, it's more of an issue. But anywhere where the guest is by themselves or in a quiet place, absolutely. So if you had a spa where the guest is on their own, then I see no reason why Alexa couldn't be tailored to work in that environment also.
That's interesting to hear. We have another question here. Is there a minimum number of devices that need to be installed? I think that would be for you, Deep, into a medium to large hotel.
No, there is no such minimum requirement. I think, as I mentioned at the start in one of the slides, it couldn't be one device, it could be thousands of devices. So there is no minimum device as such.
Perfect. An interesting one here as well, I think for you, Ed. Is this offered as a premium solution to people, or is it for every hotel guest?
Well, we've put them in all our rooms because for us, every guest, all our rooms are a premium offering. We want to add value to all our guests. But then what we're thinking of doing in our suite, there's many layers to this. So thermostat controls, curtain controls, different sorts of lighting, mood lighting, all of these smart features that you can couple with Alexa. Can be added, so you can certainly differentiate between room types using those sort of ideas.
Perfect. And how do you let people know that it's in the hotel? How do you promote it? How do you educate people how to use it? Is that a bit of a process?
It's a great talking point when a guest checks in. The reception teams have been trained to explain about the Alexa device in the room and how it works. So guests are very intrigued when they're checking in and excited actually about the device. But we also have an in-room information document as well that explains how the device works. So that there's different areas where guests can learn, and that they can always ask the staff at any point as well if there's anything they don't understand. But it's all very self-explanatory.
Yeah, and I want to add to what Ed said. I think for people who haven't been in the hotel, they will probably not appreciate that, but Ed touched upon a very important point, which is having that collateral beside the device, which also guides the users to the functionality that is available. But also, and I know privacy there's been some questions on that. So it also gives a link there to actually some of the privacy kind of elements that I talked about in the presentation, right? So that has been, I hope, Ed, and I think it is, a massive aid and an asset to that goes with the device and the experience.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, and I'm in a room here showcasing Mercure Hyde Park. So if you look in the corner, you can see our Alexa device, which I put on mute so she doesn't get excited during the call. But you can see the document next to her, which just explains some of the common questions guests can ask. Yeah.
So someone has also asked if someone a guest orders some towels or some food, do the staff need to have a personal mobile phone that gets this message, as you demonstrated, Amit, or does it go to a central system? How does it work for the staff?
So we offer several options. So they can either have a personal phone, or we can have it just directly on the website. So every user, essentially, or every member of staff would have access to our online portal. So the message would straight away be pushed there. And in the case where some properties, for example, already have a guest request system, we can just connect to that as well. So it's essentially making it as simple for the hotel, whether they want to just use mobile phones, whether they have an existing system, we can push the requests to them essentially.
That's amazing, thanks. I have a question probably for you, Dee. Someone's asked, how do I buy thousands of devices? They don't think, do they go direct to Amazon? Do they go, is there a wholesaler? Who do they reach out to if they want to implement this in thousands of rooms?
Yeah, so just to clarify the buying process a bit more. So Alexa Smart Properties for Hospitality, there is a specific process. And basically what you need to do is you need to create an Amazon business account and then order the devices there. And typically what we would expect is the solution providers to buy it on behalf of the hotel. I mean, the hotels can still own the devices, but it's just because they are providing an end-to-end service, they will potentially buy the hotel and deploy it. But to answer the question, you know, whether it's one device, 100 device, or thousands device, they will have to go through that Amazon business account for that particular market, whether it's UK or France.
Perfect, thank you. I have one for you, Amit, here. Someone's asking, is the Amazon account personal to the person? Do they sign in with their own account when they come in, or is it the hotel's account? You probably know as well, Ed.
No, so they don't sign into an Amazon account at all. I think, yeah, the key point that Deep was making is the Amazon for Hospitality program is sort of different to the normal Alexa. So it's very much all about privacy focused. So you're not taking any personal information from the guest. In terms of sort of the hotel cloud experience, all we do is we link it to the property management system in the same way as the hotel currently does. So if you were to traditionally phone up for an order, they would log that in the property management system. So we're sort of feeding that through as well to get a link there. But there's no personal data ever stored about the customer. And there's certainly no sort of account linking there as well.
And sorry, Ed, do you make, is it on already in the room, or do you make it a choose to turn on?
It's on in the room, yeah, when a guest enters. So a common question you can ask is, Alexa, how can I use you? And she runs through all the possible ways you can use the device. So yeah, it's on as a default, but guests can easily turn it off with the button on the top.
Perfect. And can you also use it to control all the smart aspects in the room, like TV, lights, blinds, all of that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's something that's in the pipeline for us, especially in our superior room categories, to have all of those functionalities from lighting, thermostat, TV controls. A lot of modern TVs now come with Alexa built into them, so it's just about pairing that with our current setup. And it's great because it's reducing touch points in the room as well. Now, cleanliness is I mean, everything we have is sterilized with hospital grade disinfectants, of course, but some guests still prefer not to touch things like remote controls. and Alexa enables them to control the TV, etc., just with their voice.
Yeah, it's definitely helping everyone out, it seems. So Dave, just a question on pricing again. I have a question aside here. Would it be helpful for an average hotel of 50 bedrooms? How much do you think that would cost, or does it come down to more details as well?
No, this is something, as I said, will depend on what type of experience you're building and what the service that you're offering, right? So again, I wouldn't comment on specific prices without knowing the needs of the particular hotel. So yeah, it's not as if this is only applicable for large hotels; it's applicable for all hotels. So we need to discuss the specific situation, and as I said, we can talk together with the hotel, with solution provider, to discuss that.
Perfect, thank you. We're about to run out of time, but I just one final question that's just come in there. Can you bring your own Alexa with all your settings already saved, or is this a new function that is a new technology member of the hotel staff, as it were?
I mean, this Alexa is part of Mercure Hyde Park. It's been programmed to be a Mercure Hyde Park Alexa. It's very much a public use application. As we said, privacy is #1 for Amazon. So you can't turn it into your home Alexa for that reason, because privacy is our #1.
The short answer is unfortunately no.
No problem. Well, thank you so much for joining us and all your expertise.